Hi there. Welcome to the Travel Shuffle Destinations. First, settle into a comfortable position. Take a deep breath in and a slow breath out. And allow your body to sink further into your bed. Take another long, slow breath in and out. And notice what you notice. Feel your arms and legs, your hands and feet, your abdomen, your chest, your shoulders, and your neck. And see if you can release any tension that you find. Take another long, deep breath in and out, and notice what you feel. If you can sense a way to get a little more comfortable, take a moment to do that now. Now take a deep breath in, another small breath in, and then exhale long and slowly. And again, take a deep breath in, a small breath in on top of that, and a long, slow exhale. Tonight, we'll use a cognitive shuffle to help disrupt the pattern of thoughts that keep you awake. And we'll use destinations around the world. Take another deep breath in, and a small breath in on top of that, and a long, slow exhale. And continue to breathe in this way for as long as you like as we begin the travel shuffle. Petra, Jordan. The rose red treasury carved in rock, and the sick canyon walk. Maui, Hawaii. Haleakala Crater, and the road to Hana. Prague in the Czech Republic. The astronomical clock and the Charles Bridge. Serengeti, Tanzania. The great wildebeest migration and hot air balloon safaris. Barcelona, Spain. The Sagrada Familia and the mosaics of Park Güell. Banff, Canada, the shores of Lake Louise and the Icefields Parkway. Varanasi, India, the Ganges River, Ghats, and the evening Aarti fire ceremonies. Dubrovnik, Croatia, the old city walls and the Game of Thrones filming locations. New Orleans, Louisiana, the Bourbon Street jazz scene and the French Quarter. Kyoto, Japan, the Fushimi Inari Torii Gates and the Arashiyama Bamboo Grove. Cape Town, South Africa, the Table Mountain Cable Car and the Boulders Beach Penguins. Reykjavik, Iceland, the Northern Lights and the Blue Lagoon Geothermal Spa. Machu Picchu, Peru, the Inca Citadel ruins and the Sun Gate hike. Istanbul, Turkey, the Hagia Sophia and the Grand Bazaar. Oahu, Hawaii, the Diamond Head Trail and the shores of Waikiki Beach. Sydney, Australia, the Sydney Opera House and the Bondi Beach Coastal Walk. Marrakesh, Morocco, the Jama El Fna Square and the souks of Medina. Chicago, Illinois, the Navy Pier and the Cloud Gate in Millennium Park. Bali, Indonesia, the Tegalalang Rice Terraces and the Uluwatu Cliff Temple. Lofoten Islands, Norway, the midnight sun over fishing villages and the northern lights. Rio de Janeiro, Brazil, Christ the Redeemer's statue and Copacabana Beach. Edinburgh, Scotland, the Edinburgh Castle and the Royal Mile. Cappadocia, Turkey, hot air balloons over the fairy chimneys and ancient underground cities. Singapore, the gardens by the bay super trees, and the hawker center street food. Grand Canyon, Arizona. The South Rim overlooks, and the Bright Angel Trail. Lisbon, Portugal. The Belém Tower and the vintage yellow tram rides. Zanzibar, Tanzania. The Stone Town spice markets and the Nyangwe beach snorkeling. Seoul, South Korea. The Gyeongbokgung Palace and the Myeongdong street food scene. Santorini, Greece. The blue dome churches of Oya and the caldera sunsets. Denver, Colorado. The Red Rocks Amphitheater and Rocky Mountain National Park. Halong Bay, Vietnam. The limestone karst islands and traditional junk boat cruises. Vienna, Austria. The Schönbrunn Palace and the Musikverein Concert Hall. Kruger National Park in South Africa. The Big Five Safari Drives and Bush Lodges. Mexico City, Mexico. The Zocalo and the Frida Kahlo Museum. Cinque Terre, Italy. The cliffside fishing villages and the Sentiero Azzurro coastal trail. Bhutan. The Tiger's Nest Monastery cliffside hike and the gross national happiness culture. Nashville, Tennessee. The Grand Ole Opry and the Lower Broadway honky tonks. Guilin, China. The Lee River karst peaks and the Reed Flute Cave. Valletta, Malta. The Baroque architecture and the Grand Harbor fortifications. Patagonia in Argentina and Chile, the Perito Moreno Glacier, and the Torres del Paine trekking trails. Luang Prabang, Laos, the monk almsgiving ceremonies, and the Quang Sea waterfalls. Amsterdam, in the Netherlands, the Anne Frank House, and the canal boat rides. Sedona, Arizona, Red Rock vortexes, and the Cathedral Rock hiking trails. Angkor Wat, Cambodia, the ancient temple complex at sunrise, and the view from Phnom Baking. Buenos Aires, Argentina, the La Boca Tango scene and the Recoleta Cemetery. Hallstatt, Austria, the lakeside alpine village and the Dachstein ice cave. Chiang Mai, Thailand, the Doi Suthep Temple and the ethical elephant sanctuaries. Washington, D.C., the Lincoln Memorial and the Smithsonian Museums. Galapagos Islands in Ecuador, giant tortoises and the blue-footed boobies. Florence, Italy, Michelangelo's David and the Uffizi Gallery. Yellowstone in Wyoming, the Old Faithful Geyser and the Grand Prismatic Spring. Dubai, United Arab Emirates, the Burj Khalifa observation deck and the Palm Jumeirah. Hoi An, Vietnam, the lantern-lit ancient town and the Tu Bon River boat rides. Bergen, Norway, the Briggen Wharf and the Fjord Norway cruise. Cusco, Peru, the Plaza de Armas and the Sacred Valley. New York City, New York. The Times Square lights and the Statue of Liberty. The Maldives. The overwater bungalows and the bioluminescent beach nights. Bruges, Belgium. The medieval canal city and the Belgium chocolate shops. Kilimanjaro, Tanzania. The summit of Africa's highest peak and the Lemosho trekking route. Osaka, Japan. The Dotonbori Neon Food Street and the Osaka Castle. Zion, Utah. The Zion Canyon Narrows and the Angel's Landing Trail. Kathmandu, Nepal. The Buddhanath Stupa and the Pashupatinath Temple Ghats. Miami, Florida. The South Beach shoreline and the Art Deco Historic District. The Zhangjiai, China. The towering Pillar Mountains and the Glass Bottom Bridge. Montreal, Canada. The Mount Royal Park and the Old Port waterfront. Victoria Falls in Zambia and Zimbabwe. The world's largest waterfall and the Devil's Pool swim. Phuket, Thailand. The Phi Phi Island snorkeling and the Phang Nga Bay Sea Caves. Bryce Canyon, Utah. The Hoodoo Formations and Sunrise Point Overlook. Havana, Cuba. Classic 1950s cars and the Malecon waterfront promenade. Tokyo, Japan. Bullet trains and the Meiji Shrine. Interlaken, Switzerland. Paragliding over the Alps on the Jungfraujoch train ride. Nairobi, Kenya. The David Sheldrick Elephant Sanctuary and the Giraffe Center. Portland, Oregon, Powell's Books, and the International Rose Test Garden. Venice, Italy, Grand Canal gondola rides, and St. Mark's Basilica. Wadi Rum, Jordan, the Red Desert Jeep Tours, and the Lawrence of Arabia film sites. Melbourne, Australia, the Great Ocean Road 12 Apostles, and the Federation Square laneways. Cartagena, Colombia, the walled Old City, and the Rosario Islands coral reefs. Moab, Utah, Arches National Park, and the Canyonlands. Sri Lanka, the Sigiriya Lion Rock Fortress, and the Yala National Park leopards. Berlin, Germany, the Brandenburg Gate and the East Side Gallery. Plitvice Lakes, Croatia, cascading turquoise lakes and the wooden boardwalk trails. Luxor, Egypt, the Valley of the Kings, and the Karnak Temple Complex. Bangkok, Thailand, the Grand Palace, and the Chao Phraya River temples. Borobudur, Indonesia, the world's largest Buddhist temple, and the volcanic sunrise views. Quebec City, Canada, the Chateau Frontenac, and the cobblestone streets of Old Town. Agra, India, the Taj Mahal, and the Agra Fort. Amalfi Coast, Italy, the Positano Pastel Hillside and Ravello Gardens. Hokkaido, Japan, the Sapporo Snow Festival and the lavender fields of Furano. Las Vegas, Nevada, the Hoover Dam, and the Las Vegas Strip. Iguazu Falls in Argentina and Brazil, the Horseshoe Waterfall Panorama and Devil's Throat Walkway. Copenhagen, Denmark, the Nyhavn Colorful Harbor and the Tivoli Gardens. Seattle, Washington, the Pike Place Market and the Space Needle. Komodo Island, Indonesia, Komodo dragon encounters and pink sand beaches. Fez, Morocco, the Al Qarawiyyan Ancient University and the tannery overlooks. Budapest, Hungary, thermal baths and the chain bridge at night. Denali, Alaska, the summit of North America's tallest peak, and grizzly bear valleys. Shanghai, China, the Bund waterfront and the Yu Garden. Meteora, Greece, the monasteries perched atop towering rock pillars. Tulum, Mexico, the Mayan clifftop ruins and turquoise cenotes. Stockholm, Sweden, the Vasa Worship Museum and the Gamla Stan Old Town. Namibia, the Sossusvlei red sand dunes and the Skeleton Coast. Grand Teton, Wyoming, the Snake River overlook and the shores of Jenny Lake. Medellin, Colombia, the cable car over the hillside communes and the story of urban transformation. Athens, Greece, the Acropolis and the ancient agora. Big Island, Hawaii, Volcanoes National Park, and the Mauna Kea Observatory. Versailles, France, the Hall of Mirrors and the Palace Gardens. Rwanda, Volcanoes National Park Gorilla Trekking, and the Kigali Memorial Gardens. Charleston, South Carolina, the Rainbow Row and the Fort Sumter waterfront. Ho Chi Minh City, Vietnam, the Cu Chi Tunnels and the War Remnants Museum. Lucerne, Switzerland, the Chapel Bridge and the Mount Pilatus cable car. Jaipur, India, the Amber Fort and the Palace of Winds. Niagara Falls, in Canada and the U.S., the Horseshoe Falls, and the Maid of the Mist boat ride. Ephesus, Turkey, the ancient library of Celsus ruins and the Temple of Artemis site. South Island, New Zealand, the Milford Sound Fjord cruises and the Queenstown bungee jumping. Boston, Massachusetts, the Freedom Trail and Fenway Park. Cairo, Egypt, the Pyramids of Giza and the Egyptian Museum. Chengdu, China, Giant Panda Research Base and the Sichuan Hot Pot. Mallorca, Spain, the Serra de Tramuntana Mountains and the Hidden Cove beaches. Masai Mara, Kenya, the Big Cat hunting grounds and the Maasai village visits. Ljubljana, Slovenia, the Dragon Bridge and the Predjama Castle. Austin, Texas, the 6th Street live music scene, and Barton Springs Pool. Kuala Lumpur, Malaysia, the Petronas Twin Towers and the Batu Caves Hindu Shrine. The Sahara Desert in Morocco, Erg Chebi sand dunes and camel trekking at sunrise. Rome, Italy, the Colosseum and Vatican City. Pokhara, Nepal, Fewa Lake Reflections and the Annapurna Base Camp trekking trails. Los Angeles, California, the Hollywood Walk of Fame and the Getty Center. Fiji, the Yasawa Island snorkeling and a traditional kava ceremony in a village. Seville, Spain, flamenco performances and the Alcazar Royal Palace. Botswana, Okavango Delta, Mokoro canoe safaris, and the Chobe elephant herds. Hiroshima, Japan, the Peace Memorial Park, and Miyajima Island Floating Torii Gate. Philadelphia, Pennsylvania, the city of brotherly love, and the Liberty Bell. Dead Sea, Jordan, the saltwater floating and mineral mud spas along the shore. Uluru, Australia, the sacred Aboriginal monolith at sunrise, and the Kata Juta domes. Hanoi, Vietnam, the Hoan Kiem Lake, and the Old Quarter street food scene. Munich, Germany, the Oktoberfest, and Neuschwanstein Castle day trips. Lima, Peru, the Miraflores cliff parks, and world-class ceviche. Kotor, Montenegro, the Bay of Kotor Fjord, a medieval fortified old town. The Great Barrier Reef, Australia. Whitsunday Island sailing and the world's largest coral reef. Salzburg, Austria. Mozart's birthplace and the Hohensalzburg Fortress. Oaxaca, Mexico. The Monte Alban ruins and Day of the Dead festivities. Helsinki, Finland. The Suomenlinna Sea Fortress and the Design District. Borneo, Malaysia. The Orangutan Sanctuary and the Mount Kinabalu Summit. Madrid, Spain. The Prado Museum and the Royal Palace. Juneau, Alaska. The Mendenhall Glacier and whale watching in Elk Bay. Český Krumlov in the Czech Republic. The Castle Overlook and the Vltava River Bend. Bogota, Colombia. The La Candelaria Colonial District and the Gold Museum. Kauai, Hawaii. The Na Pali Coast Cliffs and the Waimea Canyon. Granada, Spain. The Alhambra Fortress and the Albayzin Moorish Quarter. The Nile River in Uganda. The source of the Nile at Jinja and whitewater rafting. Vancouver, Canada. Stanley Park Seawall and the Granville Island Market. Muscat, Oman, the Sultan Qaboos Grand Mosque, and the Mutra Souk. North Island, New Zealand, the Rotorua geothermal mud pools, and the Hobbiton film set. Page, Arizona, Antelope Canyon, and the Horseshoe Bend Overlook. Tallinn, Estonia, the medieval Old Town Towers and Tumpea Hill. Mumbai, India, the Gateway of India, and the Dharavi street food markets. Provence, France, lavender fields, and the Pont de Gard aqueduct. Easter Island, Chile, the Moai stone statues, and the Rano Raraku volcano quarry. Hong Kong, the Victoria Harbour skyline, and the Peak Tram. Warsaw, Poland, the meticulously rebuilt Old Town, and the Poland Museum. Glacier National Park, Montana, the Grinnell Glacier, and Going to the Sun Road. Lhasa, Tibet, the Potala Palace Fortress Monastery, and the Jokang Temple. Dublin, Ireland, the Trinity College Library, and the Cliffs of Moher day trip. Honshu, Japan, Mount Fuji, and the Mount Kachikachi Ropeway. Savannah, Georgia, the Forsyth Park fountains, and the antebellum architecture. Beijing, China, the Great Wall, and the Forbidden City. Ibiza, Spain, the Ses Salines Beach, and the Dalt Villa UNESCO Old Town. Mauritius, Le Morne Brabant UNESCO Site, and the underwater waterfall illusion. Nice, France, the Promenade des Anglais, and the Old Town Market. Krakow, Poland, the Wawel Castle, and the Wolitzka Salt Mine. Jeju Island, South Korea, the Halasan volcano crater, and the Manjangol lava tube. Santa Fe, New Mexico, Sangre de Cristo Mountains, and the Canyon Road Galleries. Garden Route, South Africa, the Tsitsikama Forest Canopy Tours, and the Storms River Mouth. Macau, the ruins of St. Paul's, and the Cotai Strip Resort skyline. Toronto, Canada, the CN Tower, and the Kensington Market. Pamukkale, Turkey, the White Calcium Terraces, and the Hierapolis Ancient Ruins. Salvador, Brazil, the Pelourinho Baroque, and the Afro-Brazilian Capoeira. Kerala, India, backwater houseboat cruises, and Periyar Wildlife Sanctuary. Tucson, Arizona, the Saguaro National Park, and Arizona Sonoran Desert Museum. Xi'an, China, the Terracotta Army and the ancient city wall. Hamburg, Germany, the historic Fischmarkt on the Elbe, and the miniature Wunderland. Brussels, Belgium, the Monacan Peace and the Grand Place Square. Cancun, Mexico, the Isla Mujeres Ferry, and the Chichen Itza day trips. Punjab, India, the Golden Temple of Amritsar, and the Wagah border sunset ceremony. Nara, Japan, the free roaming sacred deer, and the Todaiji Great Buddha Hall. Abu Dhabi, United Arab Emirates, the Sheikh Zayed Grand Mosque, and the Ferrari World theme park. Porto, Portugal, the Dom Luís Bridge, and Port Wine Caves and Via Nova de Gaia. Rajasthan, India, the Mehrangarh Fort in Jodhpur, and the Blue City Panorama. Guadalajara, Mexico, the Hospicio Cabañas murals, and the mariachi at Plaza de los Mariachis. Zurich, Switzerland, the Old Town Lindenhügel and lake promenades. Sicily, Italy, Mount Etna hikes and the Valley of the Temples. Nile River, Egypt, the Felucca sailboat cruises, and Abu Simbel Temple. New Mexico in the United States, Carlsbad Caverns, and Meow Wolf immersive art experience. Tbilisi, Georgia, the ancient Narikala fortress overlooking the Old Town and the Sulphur Bath District. Chiang Rai, Thailand, the surreal white temple of Wat Rong Kun and the Golden Clock Tower. Masai Mara, Kenya, the Dawn Balloon Safari, and cheetah sprinting across the open plain. You've traveled the world, and now you get to rest deeply and peacefully.